Hi YouTube, my name is Allie. This is my husband Michael. We wanted to come together to talk about how to save as a couple. So we are a married couple. We've been married since February, and recently we've been able to save our first $50,000, and we did it in under
8 months.
8 months. So yeah, so we started saving around what, March?
Yeah, like late March.
But first, before we started saving, we paid off all our credit card debt.
Yes, so no debt. No debt. We do not have any debt. 100% no debt. Why did we start saving? The reason why we started saving is because we wanted financial independence, right? We want to save up for an investment property. And we also wanted a safety net just in case anything happened as far as, I get a broken leg, Lord forbid, or something happens to our lease, just worst case scenario. We just wanted that safety net to be able to secure us so we wouldn't have to worry about money.
Right, so we use the method of paying ourselves first. Whenever we get paid, we set that money aside because saving money is more important than spending it on clothes, which I'm guilty of, or food, or buying new things. We're able to do all those things, but we make sure that our bills are paid first. We have a hefty amount in the savings, and then we're able to go do what we want to do. Okay, so I know you guys are wondering what are the steps we took to save this amount of money in such a short amount of time. So I want to say that my husband, he's a data scientist, and I'm a project manager. We understand that it's not always easy to save a certain amount of money depending on what kind of income you have, but the most important thing is paying yourself first. A lot of people have a lot more money than they think they have, but they spend it, with food, fast fashion, paying interest rates for credit cards and things like that. So it's very important to pay yourself first and be honest with how much you bring in and how much you spend.
Exactly, because we almost all talk about, I don't got no money, I don't have no money, but you making X amount of dollars per year, but you spending on the things that you think that are most important to you at the moment. So not taking into consideration that, hey, I need to save more money for like a safety net, or maybe I want financial independence or something, or save money on something that you actually really value and that will help you make money in the long term. So got to think about that, guys.
Yeah, it's very important to be smart. So we're going to get into some of the steps. It was a lot, so we wrote them down in our phones. So the first thing that we did when we basically we moved to Dallas, Texas. So it's a lot more affordable than where we were.
It's a lot more affordable.
We were in the DMV area, DC, Maryland, Virginia. So this also was a financial decision to move to Dallas, partly a financial decision.
Yeah, because Maryland, living in Baltimore, Baltimore area, the cost of living was drastically high. I mean, because in living in the state of Maryland, you have to pay federal taxes, state tax, I think alcohol tax. I mean, it's a bunch of different taxes that are factored there. But in the state of Texas, we only have just federal income taxes and other miscellaneous taxes that's hidden in other things like property tax and so forth. So.
All right. So the steps that we took. First, I created a spreadsheet. We did it together. We were honest about basically everything that we knew had to go out. So that's rent. And speaking of rent, we didn't go out and get the most expensive place we found.
Absolutely not.
We have a nice apartment, but people who make as much as we make, they might go and find a place that's over $2,000 just
living downtown somewhere in a high rise, and living in a 700 square foot apartment.
Yeah, a lot of these apartments are very nice, but they're tiny. But one tip is to avoid lifestyle creep.
Yeah.
So that was the biggest thing. We said we have this amount coming in. It's a good amount. However, we need to make sure our rent expense is on the lower end still in a nice area,
Yep.
still get the nice, aesthetics that you like, but finding those deals and making sure that that rental expense is not cutting into a big portion of your rent, because a lot of people's rent is half of what they make, and we didn't do that. And I think that's one of the biggest ways to save money, because that's people's largest expense is where they live.
Yeah, and the thing is, it's like plan now. And what I mean by that is that why would you go out and spend damn near half of your check that you make on a weekly basis, bi-weekly basis, or monthly, or even monthly basis on a expensive apartment, to where you kind of struggling to make ends meet, every month because you want a certain lifestyle. Sacrifice that.
Right. So in our spreadsheet, we put our income that was coming in, our expenses, and then we factored in saving as an expense. Our minimum to save on a monthly basis is $5,000, and we save more than that on a monthly basis. But that was the minimum that we allotted for, with going out to eat, paying all your other expenses, and what have you. So that was the biggest thing. So being clear on not necessarily our budget, but being clear on what is coming in and what is going out, and how much you can realistically save, and go from there. And the second note is to set a minimum of how much you want to save. So if you're a person that makes $80,000 and you live in a place where you can get rent for like $1,200 or whatever,
especially for a single person. Yeah.
As a single person, you want to look at all your expenses, and instead of looking at what is left over as expendable income, take a chunk of that expendable income and just keep stacking it away. Like, keep doing that. The confidence that comes with having a bunch of money saved up is invaluable. Like, you don't want to be a person who makes all this money and it's coming in and it's going out. So make sure you set that minimum and you go ahead and put it away.
The next point is having multiple bank accounts, one for bills and one for the actual savings. So right now we got our accounts set up to where we allotted this much money that goes into savings, and we have an account to where there's an automatic deposit that goes into the bills accounts, where we know how much is coming in and how much is going out. Mm-hmm. That's important because it just shows you, hey, after all my bills are paid and after I put money in the savings, this is how much money I have left to play with to get you over to your next check. So that's very important, and you should apply it because we find it very helpful. Having multiple bank accounts. So
yeah, it provides a lot of clarity. So when you see how much you have saved up, you see that you don't see anything coming out of it, and you don't want to take anything out of that. You just have your savings, you have your bills account, and that's typically where we have, like you said, our deposits that go in from our jobs, and then we do automatic pay for all of our bills. Mm-hmm. So that money is there. It's there. It goes out. Anything that's left over goes into our savings, or we pay down our credit cards. We still do use credit cards, and for me, that's for the points. You definitely want to leverage that,
and you want to keep an active credit too.
Yeah.
I mean, we are not out here making large purchases on things that are not important to us. So just keep that in mind, guys.
Right.
All right. Another point is continue to pay off debt. Mm-hmm. So I understand that you guys have different financial obligations when it comes to maybe student loans or different lines of credit that you owe on. Always, your debts come first, right? But also set a portion of your amount of your paycheck to the side to your savings account. Because you never know, anything can happen. Like I stated earlier, you can lose your job. I mean, you can lose your apartment somehow. Something happens to your apartment. It just, that uncertainty that you can't control, that variable that you just can't control. So it's good to, continue to pay off your debt and still have that allotted money going into another account, so you can be good.
Right, and you don't want to spend more on those interest rates or always paying the minimum. Like, I was in that for a long time where I had a line of credit and I just kept paying the minimum, and it like literally just stayed the same. But once you pay off that debt, you have better credit, you can get better interest rates, so that's less money coming out of your pocket over a period of time, and it looks better.
And the good thing is like, make sure that debt to income ratio is pretty low, because that helps you qualify for mortgage loans, different personal loans. So keep that in mind.
Right, that's very important. Like you said, the debt to income ratio. When you are a married couple and you're building life together, eventually you want to get a house. If you're making a certain X amount of money and it's continuously going out, like as soon as you got a raise, you got a new car, you got a new this, you got the best this, blah, blah, blah. When you go to banks and ask for money, they're going to see all this money going out. They're going to see it coming in, but they're going to see that you have so many obligations, and it's harder for you over time.
Because you're too much of a liability, too much of a risk, because you have your debt to income ratio extremely.
It's too high.
It's too high.
Yeah, and a lot of people, I never really heard about debt to income ratio until we started looking into houses.
Oh yeah.
And I'm glad that we have the mindset that we have, because if we did decide to get an investment property, yeah, we save X amount of money, but we have all these obligations we can't get out of, and this money's just going out over and over again. It's going to be